But the mission of Berean Bible Institute is to train pastors and missionaries and Christian leaders for the ministry of the Lord Jesus Christ and the proclamation of the gospel of the grace of God given to and through the Apostle Paul. Grace changes everything. Grace is the essence of who God is and His view of mankind. Grace is the lifeline to the drowning man, the cure for the disease of sin, the hope for the helpless. It does not look at how good you are, how good you were, how good you will be. You can never measure up, pay up, or do anything to deserve it. It is God reaching down to mankind and offering them freedom and forgiveness and hope where there is none in their current situation. It is truly a gift from God that, once understood, changes everything. Our theme this year is Grace Changes Everything, and I owe that to Pastor Justin Lynn. We think of a theme every year, and as he shared that and we started thinking about that, think about that in relationship. This is not even my message yet. But think about that in the relationship to our salvation. Grace changes everything. You mean I don't have to work for it? Oh, what He died for me, I can accept it. What He did for me, I can accept that gift. Salvation. What about sanctification? How many of us have taken 3 steps forward and unfortunately 4 steps back? And were it not for the grace of God, we would be kicked to the curb. You all know who you are better than I do. We all live that. And then that grace of God in service, because He takes us weak vessels, inconsistent sometimes, and He uses us and He says, I want to use you for my glory. Grace changes everything. As Pastor Jeff said, I am the president of Berean Bible Institute, and I absolutely love being that and being a part of the Institute. And when I was thinking about some things to share about the school, I had about 20 of them, so I pared it down to 5. Next year, we will be celebrating 30 years since our first class. 30 years in ministry. 1996 was our first class taught for Berean Bible Institute. In Berean Bible Society that founded the Institute, that birthed the Institute. And we're excited about that. 30 years. I wish I was 30 years old. A little bit more than that. The next thing that I'm excited about, and this just came to me this last year, is now we're generational. We have, in fact, we're like grandparents. You had students take classes at BBI, and they're young adults taking classes. And now, as they've gotten older and had kids, some of their kids are taking classes at BBI. So we're a generational ministry, and that's encouraging to me to see these young men and women want to take courses at Berean Bible Institute. Another thing that really encourages me, that to be honest with you, we fought tooth and nail to not have happen. When Berean Bible Institute was founded, it was founded as an institute that had a campus that you could go to and that you could take classes. When I started teaching part-time in 2005, there was a place in Slinger, Wisconsin where we held classes. And they were great. We had about 25 students coming 4 nights a week. We loved it. But we couldn't sustain it. We had no dorms. We weren't catering to 18-year-olds, although we loved to have young students. We had more older adults wanting to take classes, and so we were limited to our location. Well, after fighting tooth and nail and seeing our attendance start to fall, and when I took the role as president of the school, we had 7 on-campus students. Dr. Bedore and Pastor Andy Kern had started getting some distance-oriented classes going there. We had a few students that way, and we kept fighting. Maybe we'll take an instructor and go to this church and do a class. And we did that, and in this church. And then the class would happen, and the next time we would offer a class, maybe not. Nobody, or maybe one person. So that was a dead end. And then, I hate to say it, COVID hit. And we had already started distance education, but our final on-campus class was one that I had to dismiss and send people home for. And basically, it kicked us into distance education. And I am so thankful to the Lord that He did. Because BBI now can teach men and women who want to serve the Lord where they're at. I always kind of joke about this half-heartedly. You don't have to move to Wisconsin. I don't like living in Wisconsin. But it's opened the doors. My last class I taught, I had Alabama, I had New Jersey, I had Michigan, and I had Indiana in the class. And we all got together once a week, an hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes for that. They do close work outside of class. And we had a class for 16 weeks. We're praying for each other, and there was a camaraderie built that was so encouraging. It was such a blessing. Last year we had almost 100 students. And we're growing. We have an extension right now in Brazil under the direction of Paul Kressmeyer. It's not us just endorsing what they're doing. It's BBI Brazil. And in the last 4 years, we've had 70 students work their way through and are continuing to take classes. Those things are exciting to me because we see God working. We have students from 12, or have had students from as many as 12 different countries. We would have never had that, folks, if we just said, you move to Slinger. Slinger, that's a weird name anyway. Okay, now you move to West Bend. That's where we're at now. But we would have never had that. And we kind of like, well, God knew more than we did in that regard. And it was such a blessing. And we provide training. You don't have to move. Someone pointed out to me, and I knew this, but they reiterated, they said, do you realize how significant Berean Bible Institute is? Because we always hear we need more pastors. And yet BBI can provide training for you in your church where you can get practical experience in the local church and take classes as you're doing it, as you're training, as your pastor is preaching and teaching, and you're taking classes to come alongside. I'm encouraged by that. It's such a blessing. We're getting ready to start, hopefully after the first of the year, a certificate in women's ministry where we are going to offer a certificate to train women to reach out to other women, to encourage other women in the Lord and in their ministry, in the home, in the church, and in society. And we're excited about that potential as well. The final one that I want to just share with you is a call a little bit for help in partnership, because Berean Bible Institute, about 85% of our support comes from people like you. And I know that many of you in this room do support Berean Bible Institute. I support Berean Bible Institute financially, and we could not do it without you. So I want to encourage you, if the Lord lays that on your heart, if you want to invest in this type of ministry, come see me. We can talk about certain needs or whatever, how you can get involved. But it is an honor to serve in this capacity and to be a part of Berean Bible Institute. Not just the Institute, it's to be a part of what God's doing all over the world. And I just spoke to a guy last week, a pastor in church in California, Anaheim. And just to hear him talk about his church and different things he's going through. And he's taking classes at BBI, and he's thinking about signing up for another class. And just hearing the impact that this school has in West Bend all over the world. So keep us in your prayers for sure. All right.